Hello everyone and welcome back to TLE10. So our topic for this week is about prepare meat cuts according to recipe. The meat section of the grocery store and wet markets can be overwhelming. Some of you might be wondering, why are some meats are more expensive than the others? So meat is a muscle and different muscles do different functions in the body. One of the most important principles of understanding meat is that the muscles that work more in the animal are tougher than those that are used less. The parts of the animal that work the most are the shoulder, neck, and legs, and the part that work less are found in the back. So every professional chef knows that the shape and size of an ingredient can make or break a dish. Why? Because ingredients cut into uniform pieces at an appropriate size not only cook more easily but also taste better. That's why it is important to study the different cuts of meat. Let us now discuss the different cut of porks. So the first one is the mascara or the head or mass. The mascara or pig's head is one of the most versatile parts of the pig. The cheeks are meaty, and in some countries, people cure and smoke them to make jolls. And the variety of flavors and texture in the mascara make it a great catch-all for sisig. And some people also chop up eh, and make barbecue. Others just roast the head wool and pick it as pulutan. Okay, so this one is the tenga or ears. So the pork ears have a soft bone running through them. So a part of it is tender, but the rest of it is fatty and skin. You can use pork ears by themselves in several dishes like kapampangan sisig or barbecued pig's ear. A great option is to boil them until soft, then slice into strips, then deep fry, making them very crunchy, just like chicharron. So neck or the collar. It is a fatty cut taken above the pig's shoulder. So here. To cook, you can bone out the neck and roast it as a whole joint. Otherwise, people also cure it into collar bacon. Okay, next part is the kasim or shoulder. Pork shoulder cuts are marbled with fat and connective tissues or litid. This is an ideal cut for slow cook recipes that involve braising, stewing, and barbecuing. Most adobo cut pork options in the supermarket are from the shoulder. And these cuts are great to use for cooking dishes like adobo, sinigang, menudo, and etc. You can also slow roast an entire pork shoulder and you will end up with a tender, flavorful piece of meat. Okay, so this one is the tagiliran or the loin. So the pork loin encompasses the long back area of the pig between its shoulder and back legs. It has the leanest meat and it is the most tender part of the animal. When you get pork loin from a supermarket or a butcher, it's usually cut as the whole back, but you can ask them to cut it depending on what you need. You can get it either bone in or boneless and great for pork roast. Now this part is the lomo or tenderloin. People often bunch the tenderloin with the rest of the loin, but this pork cut here is actually very different. Pork tenderloin describes the muscle that runs along the pig's central spine. It's all meat and it is also known as pork fillet. So it is very lean, tender, and delicate. You don't need a lot to cook it, and it takes a while to marinate and cooks fairly quickly. If not grilling or searing on its own, you can quickly add it to a stir-fry dish. So, eto po kinukuha yung mga pansahog. Okay, tadyang or the ribs below the loin here, below the loin, And tenderloin, you will find the ribs or the tajang. The ribs are usually categorized into spare ribs and baby back ribs. Spare ribs come from the belly of the pig and contain a lot of flavorful meat. Okay, tajang. And yempo, our favorite. So pork belly or yempo refers to the pork cuts taken from the belly or sides of the pig. Alternating layers of fat and lean meat make up the belly. So it is the most flavorful part of the pig. Its versatility goes beyond just like inihaw or fried yempo. Okay, bacon and other cured pork products also usually come from the belly. Okay, then this one is the pige or leg. The leg of the pig provides a lot of lean meat that, when sold, it can either be fresh or cured. It is also called ham because this is where ham comes from. The pige acts similarly with kasim or the pork shoulder in the sense that it is also multi-purpose and works best with slow cook methods. Pata or hog. Pata gives us dishes like crispy pata and pata tim. This cut isn't very fatty, but it makes up in flavor from the skin and tissue that surround the dark meat. The knuckles or trotters of the pig is also popular to use for making stock. Okay, now let's proceed to the methods of cooking meat. So we discussed this with our previous topic, the dry heat cooking and moist heat cooking. When we say dry heat cooking, it refers to any cooking technique where the heat is transferred to the food item without using any moisture. Dry heat cooking typically involves high heat with temperatures of 300 degrees Fahrenheit or hotter. That's why deep frying is considered as dry heat cooking. It includes broiling, grilling, roasting, deep frying, and sauteing. So now when we say moist heat cooking, it includes any technique that involves cooking with moisture, whether it is steam, water, stock, wine, or some other liquid. Cooking temperatures are much lower, anywhere from 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and in dry heat cooking, 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Here in moist heat cooking, water doesn't get any hotter. Examples of moist heat cooking methods include braising, boiling, steaming, and simmering. Okay, so marinades. Good marinade will add flavor to your favorite meat and make it more tender and juicy. Making a marinade is very simple. All you need are three basic components. The acid like lemon juice, vinegar, yogurt, or wine. This is very important because it breaks down the meat and tenderizes it. The next one is oil. It protects and preserves the food while marinated and also when it is being cooked. And the third component is herb and spices that gives a marinade its unique flavor and zest. So here are some general guidelines for marinating. First one is meat and poultry are generally marinated for 2 hours up to 2 days, while seafood and fish should be marinated for no longer than 1 hour. Use a non-reactive container. You can avoid using aluminum, copper, or cast iron. Wait for your marinade to cool down before pouring over the meat of your choice. Always refrigerate your meat while it's marinating and never reuse the marinades. So these are some general rules or general guidelines in marinating.